seen at #Barnes & Co. Trump condoms. Cruz supporters. Cleveland. Although the streets of downtown Cleveland are filled with stands offering Donald Trump pins, bobbleheads and t-shirts, not all Republicans here are Trump supporters. Austin, Texas native Barbara Peters said she traveled to the Republican National Convention with a group called Cruz to Cleveland Convention, which continues to back former presidential candidate Senator Ted Cruz against the odds. Peters said she and like-minded others have been tirelessly working to unbind the delegates, despite Monday's failed vote to reject convention rules requiring delegates to vote for the candidate to which they are bound. "We've been working night and day, contacting all the delegates, the Rules Committee, and letting them know how we feel," said Peters, adding her efforts are also to keep presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton out of the White House. Pink protest. Some 30 volunteers from Planned Parenthood Advocates of Ohio circled the streets of Cleveland on Tuesday during the Republican National Convention, demonstrating their opposition to cuts in health care in Ohio and nationwide. The volunteers split into 3 groups protesting at various local landmarks, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and First Energy Stadium, said Erica Sackin, the political communications director with the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. "We're out here protesting attacks to care that Planned Parenthood provides to Ohio and across the country," Sackin said. "These health centers serve millions around the country, and for some, it's their only health care provider." The volunteers plan to gather closer to the perimeter of the convention at the Quicken Loans Arena on Wednesday, where they will hand out Protect Yourself from Trump condoms. Jesus is Hall and Hoyle, 55, of Washington, D.C. stood in front of an image of an aborted fetus, clutching the red painted book with the large words Holy Bible printed across it. Hoyle came to Cleveland to preach outside the Republican Nation Convention about a party he thinks is failing the people by not upholding the Constitution and Christian values. "When you take office, you put your hand on the Holy Bible, and by not fulfilling their jobs, they're committing perjury," Hoyle said. The number of Christians passing by disagreed with Hoyle's interpretation of Christianity. "Who is he to tell people they are going to hell because they have committed homosexual acts?" Ebony Hall, 34, shouted as a crowd swarmed and 10 police officers stood by. "Jesus is love. This man is preaching hate." Hall came downstairs from her apartment when she heard Hoyle over his megaphone just outside of her window. A group of Christians joined her in questioning him and ended their argument by holding each other in prayer while Hoyle continued to preach to passersby.Jordyn. Wright, 23, of Cleveland stopped when she saw the argument between Hall and Hoyle. "We have 2 people claiming something about Jesus, and they are saying 2 different things," Wright says. This message does not say love. Jesus is love." Baron Gabriel Neyer, 23, clad in purple tie-dye and bead necklaces, traveled to Cleveland from Oxford, Ohio, to spread the message of love. Neyer says he considers himself a spiritual person and thought Hoyle advocated a message of fear and hatred. "I pointed out the real path is love and inclusion," Neyer said. with reporting from Michelle Martinelli, Talbot Taylor and Natalie DeBlaise CO.